wanted to ask you about Travis Sanheim said something interesting last week when he said when it comes to the learning the offensive way that you want them to play, that they didn't really have much of an offensive system before you got here. Is that something that you realize that it's the teaching aspect is actually harder for you, maybe from an offensive standpoint than from the defensive standpoint?
No, it's a good question. I think you have a playbook, and you for as a coach or coaching staff, how much do you give them early? There's some stuff we want to do, but we don't want to give it to them yet in the sense that you open the playbook. But what I think it's been working, if you look at the last 5 games, for instance, I don't think we had a tip goal. I think our rebound stuff was one of the worst in the league. In the last 5 games, we've turned some numbers. Now we're getting those type of goals. We're getting more middle shots. We're not deferring as much. The motion's still there. I like the motion, but I think we're deferring too much when we have the puck in the middle. I've seen better. The perfect example is Drysdale's goal. He makes a move, comes around the weak side. He ends up getting a weak side goal. Movement comes around. We've been preaching that, but the shot had to come from somewhere, right? And everybody was in their spot. So it's growing pains. It's learning, and now for the last 5-6 games, the proof's in the pudding. The numbers have been better, and we're getting more quality shots in the certain areas. I understand. I know what he's. I don't know. I can't speak of the past. I just know how you got to just stay on top of certain things and don't give them too much all the time too, because. I know it's a long-winded answer. The last thing I want to do is an offensive, or somebody who's not even offensive guy, go out there and, the coach staff told me 4 different plays. What happens then? You're thinking too much. So it's good. It has to come organically, and I see it getting better.
I think Charlie asked you last week, how long do you expect it to take before they fully understand your system, where they don't have to be thinking about things? I remember Pete DeBoer told me once that when a new coach comes in, he doesn't really think it happens until Christmas time, right? Where is the team in terms of what you want them to do? Have they advanced to the degree that you expected them at this point? Further ahead, behind? Where are you just in terms of where they are in terms of what you want them to do?
Definitely play without the puck. I thought it'd take a lot longer. I mean, we're not, we're getting there, but I think that's the defensive numbers playing without the puck has been pretty good. I think that's the hardest thing. The offensive part too, you got to be careful. You don't want to step in too much. You want the guys to be creative. You can't tell them what to do all the time. How organically has to happen. Do I know a time frame? I don't. I will say that today's practice is probably the best I've seen us pass the puck. We do three drill practice where we don't have, we don't have really a whistle or we don't have a break. And 3 weeks ago, we would have missed some passes, bouncing off sticks. Now, today, I thought it was pretty clean. So that's 2 weeks of, we've had half-decent practices where we're passing the puck. So, that's a good thing. So the other question, it's a hard one. I don't know the time frame. I wish I could tell you.
You had Tyson Forrester out on the ice today.
Yeah.
Is it looking like he has a chance to play tomorrow, or is that still up in the air?
Yeah, I think it's it's kind of his call in a sense. And a guy like Tyson, he'll want to play, but it's also he's only had 1 or 2 skates. Can you play with only 2 skates if you've been off for 8 days? Yeah, you can, but you also have to think of the safety of the player. So we're taking that all in consideration. So we'll probably talk about it tonight. Probably have a call about it tomorrow morning.
Does the fact that you have back-to-backs this weekend also play into that a little bit because of how much he's going to have to play in a short period of time?
Yeah, I mean, sure. I mean, we got to be smart about it. Does he play 3 games? I don't know. If he plays tomorrow, we'll deal with the next game if we need time. I honestly, I don't know that part, but we want to definitely make the right call safety-wise, but also, certain injuries you can play. Even though you haven't been on the ice that much, you can play. So we'll have that factor, talk about that, those factors tomorrow.
Owen Tippett's a guy that raced out and shoot for you guys, and over his last 9 games, he doesn't have a goal. Just what have you seen from him over this stretch, and do you think it's a matter of time where he can start to get going again?
Yeah, I think he recognizes it. The one thing he's been struggling a little bit, we know, he's been getting chances. He's had a couple breakaways in those 9 games. He's had a 2-on-1. He's had some slot shots, but there's parts of his game he knows. We had a meeting the other day. He just can't I hate the word, he kind of gets in and out of the game. You can't, he's got to stay a little bit more focused in the game. I think that'll help him. But he knows it, and he's working on that part, the mental part of it. But the good thing is he's getting chances. Like if I sat up here and goes, man, this guy's getting no chances, then I'd be concerned. But he is getting chances. But there's some stuff he has to clean up, yes.
You moved Cam York off that power play unit with Trevor Zegras, and when the two of them were on the ice, they were on the ice for 7 of the 9 power play goals that the Flyers have. Just what was the thought process with moving Cam to the other power play unit?
Well, I'd have to talk to Yogi and Jay about that. I think sometimes personnel-wise, is it? I don't know that question. I honestly don't know. I think we have 2 guys that I don't think there's one guy that just runs it. We don't have that type of. I think we have a jack of all trades. But I do like having Jamie as a righty with Trevor because he can be on the one-timer. Trevor has a lot of the puck, so when the puck goes to the point, you like to have the righty up there. The stats that's pretty impressive though. If that's what happens, we got to look at that. But I do like the righty with the lefty look, the lefty on the half wall, the righty. Those are the best power plays. Like tomorrow, Draisaitl, Bouchard. You got most of the good power plays have the right sticks, but sometimes you don't. And then you got to just, if Yorkie does, he's actually done a nice job of taking the puck to the middle and going back to Trevor, right? And Trevor's coming off the wall and making some plays.
I was going to say, Cam York, someone who wasn't on the power play last year, which was
Yeah.
a bit surprising considering his history playing on the power play. Have you been impressed at least with his power play work?
Yeah, I've been impressed with his overall game. He's penalty count, PK guy, first over the boards. He's a power play guy, whether it's first or second. He's playing against usually the best teams at the line. I mean, that's, I don't know what happened in the past. All I know is, I think he came into camp knowing that the expectations, that his expectations, and he's taken it and run with it. So yeah, he's played some good hockey for us.
You said when preparing for an opponent, it's 85% about you, 15%
Yeah.
about the opponent. Does that change at all when there's a guy like Connor McDavid on the other side?
Yeah, it's probably 50-50 now.
Yeah,
I mean, there's things that they do and that he does that, you have to, the one thing, and I hate to say it because watch us get killed tomorrow because, I know that Edmonton team over Vancouver played them many times, and they're a tough team to coach against. But there are specific things you have to do as a team, everybody, not just one or two guys, not just one line, to counteract their strengths. So we'll talk about it today. We talked about it today and then tomorrow for a game plan.
With regards to the McDavid matchup,
Yeah.
over the last couple of years here, obviously you're the head coach, but the coaches have used Noah Cates pretty exclusively against Connor McDavid. Given the way you deploy him, I would guess he'll get a lot of minutes against him as well. But as a coach, preparing a player for that matchup, like, do you just kind of leave it to him? Do you,
for Casey?
For Casey, yeah. Or do you, you and the rest of the assistants, like, do you have a special meeting with him and his line mates? Like, this is what you have to deal with when you're dealing with McDavid, or you just let them kind of handle it?
Yeah, you'll have an overall game plan. Oh yeah, definitely. There's a game, but we have to give them a game plan to counteract them, and then you'll spend a little extra time with the individual or the line. But it's a group, like the whole team's got to see it because there could be sometimes they're out there against them, but there is some extra attention with certain guys like Casey. We'll talk to Casey, Devo, stuff like that, and then they're the wingers, and then. And then obviously Todd will talk to the D, but yeah, it's usually a team thing, and then you kind of break off in little individual meetings. Yes.
Going back to Tippett real quick for a minute, when he was going good, you guys had a real consistency with your lineup and who he was playing with, whoever he was playing with. Then you had a couple injuries, you had to move guys around, and he's been one of those guys who's kind of bounced around your lineup. Is he the type of player that needs that consistent? Same 3 guys I'm out there with all the time to kind of get going, or do you think?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, but he's been with Trevor and Devo at least, I think, this year 70% of the time. Sometimes you got to play with different guys because of injuries, and good players adjust to that. And I don't believe in that. Yeah, if you're bouncing guys every year, I mean every game, I get it. But he's played with those guys for 70% of the time, so I don't think that's an issue.
Edmonton's a kind of a team that can pin you a little bit in your own end. They don't have Ryan Nugent-Hopkins, so that probably takes a big chunk of that outside. But how do you handle like the mental aspect of dealing with constantly getting pinned? Like,
Yeah.
you're a big, you usually say, like, I don't care if we get pinned a little bit because as long as the shots aren't coming from the inside,
Sure.
that's okay. But how do you handle, like, the mental grind of that, where you're constantly maybe getting pinned in your own end, but, like, good things are happening where you're not giving up those high grade A chances?
Well, first of all, like the worst thing you do is back off. Like the worst thing you play Edmonton or McDavid or Everson, you just don't back off. That's the worst thing to do. But there's times when you just got to stay in structure and give them the outside. The mental part of that is honestly staying with it. Like, it just takes one or two guys to run around or leave their coverage or panic. And that's when it gets ugly out there. Guys are sliding all over the place, and people are, one guy can make a mistake, but if the other four guys don't make a mistake or stay in structure, you can withstand it. But I'm a big believer that to me, duplicating mistakes is the worst part for a team. Like, one guy makes a mistake, which is going to happen. It's a hard game, but when the second guy and the third guy does it, then you're in trouble. So I feel this team has been improving that. Early on, we were duplicating mistakes. Now, hey, a guy makes a mistake or something might happen. We've got four guys still in structure. It's kind of helps us, withstand the pressure. Like Edmonton's they're gonna have probably the puck a lot. Hopefully, we can cut off the resets. We can beat them on their second quick. A good outlet pass can beat their 2 forecheckers. Those are the little things that can sway the puck possession. When you get hemmed in, that's when it gets crazy, right?
You're a big message. Sorry, Kevin. You're a big messaging guy.
Yeah, go ahead.
But you're a big messaging guy. So do you kind of say, hey, it's okay if we're stuck in our end for a little bit? Like, there was like a shift, I think in the Nashville game, that was over a minute for the line that they were stuck in their own end because of the Predators' pressure. Do you kind of just give the message of like, hey, it's okay. Yeah. They didn't score. We withstood it. We weathered the storm. Is that kind of something that you can maybe say on the bench?
Many times. It's only been 15, 16 games we've played this year, and there's been times it looks bad where they're hemmed in. And and you could say, hold on, where is everybody going? But a lot of the times I can honestly say when the guys come off, I go, hey guys, we're good. They might have had an outside shot, goalie makes a blocker save or something like that. It's not that bad, right? I know the crowds get antsy and you got to block that out. If everybody's in position, and in the thing for the goalie too, the anxiety on the goalie. If you're running around and stuff, if you watch the goalie, there's anxiety there. But if a goalie knows our system and he knows where the puck is most of the time, they can make those grade B shots. And hey, the other teams are good too. There's some unbelievable players on the other side, so they're going to get their looks. We're just trying to give them the grade Bs, not the grade As, if we can.
With the military presence here today, can the players look at that, see the discipline, the preparation? Those guys live at 24/7. Yeah. I mean, the Flyers have to be ready, for during hockey hours. But is that beneficial, you think, to see that?
I think it's huge. The sacrifice they do. I mean, we're asking players to sacrifice a lot of things. But I mean, these guys, that's the ultimate sacrifice. So anytime that stuff comes our way, we welcome with arms. I think it's huge, and you'll see the guys out there with them, and I think it's huge. And they came in, I think, about a month ago, and they spent time in the dressing room, and guys were still there for an hour. They were telling stories. I mean, I think it goes a long way.